Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Be Peachy, a refreshingly unique black tea. Be Peachy combines robust Assam tea with real peach and apple pieces, organic elderflowers, and maple-noted bee pollen for an exceptionally anytime tea. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank y'all so much for watching again. Shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below. Go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hello there. I'm Thatillaguy.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so flattered.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Well, I'm a big old nerd from Portland. I bartend, play music, and game. I'm a big World of Warcraft nerd and all that.
Okay.
Nerdy. Oh yeah, D&D, all that.
Somebody has to be.
I love it.
Hell yeah. And what got you into music initially?
I can't really remember exactly when. I've always liked to sing. I've always been a big singer. Mm-hmm. Never did anything actually until 19 is when my first band started.
Okay.
And so I was gonna be the first singer. I was gonna be the lead singer of a band that me and some theater buddies, because I was an actor before I got into music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, let's start a band.
Yeah,
cool. A bunch of homies from high school, and they're like, cool, lead sing. My buddy Matthew was gonna play guitar, and then they're like, oh, we need a bassist, and I said, don't look at me. Do not look at me, because I tried guitar in high school.
Wasn't for you?
My fingers, even to this day, I can play guitar now, and I play guitar on stage in a couple bands, but as a secondary thing.
Yeah.
I'm singing and playing some simple, some chords and whatnot. But I was like, I don't know how to play an instrument. They're like, well, you should try. And so I picked up a bass. My buddy was like, hey, what if I go halves with you, or I buy it, and then if we don't do it, you don't have to pay me back, but if we continue the band.
Oh, okay. A little try before you buy.
Oh, fine, yeah. And so I fell in love. The first couple months, I didn't really touch it too much, but then I heard, this is wild, for the first song, YYZ by Rush.
Oh, okay.
That's the bass? Okay, there might be, because I wasn't aware of how important or how dope it could be.
Yeah.
And then,
Geddy Lee is definitely a dope bass player.
My goodness. The things that man plays and sings at the same time, I strive to be that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And so, okay, so I was going to bring this up later in the interview, but now I got to ask, because we know each other from a little ways back, back from my Guitar Center days.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the bass and amp? Did you come in when I was still working there? Was that beforehand and you upgraded later when I got to know you? Okay, because I know you're using the bigger Fender amp now.
No, so I even
upgraded. Oh, you upgraded from that. Okay.
Bass 210.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It took me a while to pull the trigger on that one, but I am not.
No.
I don't regret it.
No. Shout out to Mark Bass. Quality amps.
Shout out to Mark Bass. Y'all Germany company followed me on Instagram, and I was so flattered.
They're Italian?
Well, they have a Mark Bass Germany.
Oh.
I don't know if it's a specific company in Germany, but they followed me because I posted a picture with it. And they're
hey, why not?
I know. They reused one of my pictures, and I was like, oh,
hell yeah.
Making me feel special.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah. My first amp was it was an acoustic brand.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Which is why I don't use it anymore. Yeah, it was that, and then I used the Rumble Studio, the Rumble.
Wasn't it a 410?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, it was the 200.
Yeah, I think the 200, and then after the Rumble, I went to a PV.
Oh, man, you had a little bit of a journey there.
Yeah, and then PV, I sold that and I bought the Mark bass I have now 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 years ago, something like that.
Oh, yeah. So you would have gotten it like right after I left.
Yeah.
Darn. I wish I could have been there for that. All right, but let's get back into your interview.
Yeah.
And for this next one, this is we have a couple foundation questions we ask everybody because they're fun. This first one is one we ask early. It's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite.
No, see the side eye.
What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Ooh, it's funny. So like, I'm not like a big, and I might get hate for this, but like I don't listen to a lot of albums fully through, or didn't at least growing up.
That's pretty common nowadays, for sure.
My first one, it was a CD of Switchfoot's "A Beautiful Letdown."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I went through a phase where I listened to solely Christian alternative rock, nothing else. Like for probably 4 years, that was like almost solely what I listened to.
Okay.
Yeah, but honestly, like I had a big nostalgia moment last summer, and I just went through that album again. Hits.
You know,
I still like that album.
That's like me with this band called Roper, which is kind of like an offshoot of Five Iron Frenzy. One is more ska and one's more like ska without the horns.
Ska without the horns.
But yeah, like every time I check in on them, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Like,
I remember what I was listening to.
I liked it.
Yeah. And then what was the first live show you ever went to? That was like one you wanted to go to. So not like the first one you got like dragged to.
Was a Christian alternative rock band. I don't even know who it was. I just went on like a little church retreat to it.
Yeah. But like, what was the first one you wanted to go to?
That I wanted to, that's such a good question. What is the first one that I went to? Because it was a bummer because my mom took my older brother to like all the Warp tours, big stinks and little stinks. And I remember wanting to go because Avenged Sevenfold has been like my favorite like rock and metal band since the 5th grade. And my 7th grade year, I wanted to go to that one, but she wouldn't let me because I was too young. And then the Rev died the next year. She knows I'll never forgive her for that one.
Now it's on camera.
Yeah, no, she knows. I tell her. She's aware.
Sorry, Mom.
I love you, Mama. But that's a hard one. I can't recall what the first concert that I went to that was like my choice. I don't know if I can answer that one.
Well, sit on it. If you remember at any point in the interview, just rudely interject it wherever, regardless of who's talking. But we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next one, which is the last one in kind of the foundation questions. But what was your defining moment where you decided that you wanted to take music to the next level?
That's a good question. Weirdly enough, see, I would say probably when I was 20 and that first band kind of got going, I kind of got really roped into bass playing. Like that, I got obsessed with. So you'd say playing the bass was the turning point. You were like, I get it. I was like, ooh, like performing, because I was already a performer because I did theater beforehand, and then when I graduated, I switched to film, and I just love performing. And so being on stage with a bass, I just felt like, I believe everybody has their instrument. I think everybody can play an instrument. You have to find what theirs is.
Yep.
Mine wasn't guitar at all whatsoever, but bass, it just clicked. Like one of the first songs I learned that we did a cover of was "Are You Gonna Be My Girl?" And like it's not like a crazy bass song now that I've been doing it for almost a decade, but it's fun. I look back and like, yeah, having that be one in the first 10 songs I learned, like the chorus of that song slaps. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, but yeah, I'd probably say around 20. Okay. 20 or 21, because we had a residency at this place called Feckin' Brewery that's sadly closed now. But I just got so into that. But weirdly enough, my mom sent me, you know, when like you're in elementary school, you write like a letter to your future self. I guess young me wanted to be in a band so bad. I don't recall it at all. Because she showed me one 2 years ago from 7th grade. And like one of the first things I asked was like, oh, hi, future Michael. Are you in a band yet? And I'm like, I don't ever recall my life wanting to be in a band. Like I was like, ooh, I'm going to be Spider-Man or something. Like that. Like I was one of those kids. And so. You were
subliminally messaging yourself.
Absolutely. It's like just technically. in 7th grade, I wanted to be in a band, but I'd say probably 20.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm sure 7th grade you was proud.
7th grade me would be really proud. I'm not too mad at where I am right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go ahead and let's talk about you in the here and now. But we're going to get a super easy one out of the way. How'd you pick your name?
Oh, see, okay. I like this question because I have to preface this a lot because I know my name, and no shade to SoundCloud rappers, but they have kind of a stigma. And my name definitely sounds like a SoundCloud, like Thatillaguy.
I mean, I don't know.
It's
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah,
but like,
no shade, but so Thatillaguy is just Illa's my last name. My name is Michael Illa, and so I'm just and Illa's like, oh, that guy, ill, you're ill, and so I just think it sounds cool, and I made that's been my Instagram handle since I made my Instagram in high school, and so I initially was under the name M Illa, or Michael Illa. But it's kind of oversaturated with a bunch of Millas and stuff. And so like sometimes when people would look for my name, they'd be like, oh, which one's you? And so my mom actually suggested, she's like, why don't you just switch it to your Instagram name? Like, and I was like, you wanted something, Mom? Okay. And so I recently just switched that like 3 weeks ago. That's a recent change.
Yeah, I'm actually aware. Congratulations on getting it all consolidated.
I was stressed out about like the streams and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I spent a lot of money like promoting and stuff and doing like the whole playlist like pushing and stuff. I was like, oh no, if those all go away, I'm gonna sob.
They've got it figured out by that point.
Well, luckily, yes, yeah. Everything's all good now.
Every time I type it, I always say Thatillaguy. Like for some reason the second T is capitalized in my head.
I love that.
And so that's
the only one though. When I made the post, like, hey everybody, if you could go like follow this one now, it's my new Spotify page and stuff. I had a couple people like, who is the Tilla guy? Who's Tilla? Like, what's Tilla? And I'm like,
the T is lowercase.
This is my Facebook. You can see my full name. That's what it is.
I think it's because it's the letter I. If you capitalize it, it just looks like 3 L's.
Oh, I've gotten that.
Like, yeah, Instagram doesn't, or not Instagram, Spotify for sure doesn't do the I with the little on the top and bottom to really distinguish.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, so you have to go lowercase, and you can't capitalize the T or that'll do the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like you have to make that all capitalized if you really want to distinguish it.
Illa guy.
Yeah, and then Illa can be lowercase and guy can be capitalized, kind of give it that.
Ooh. That's not also a bad
idea,
because that's one thing I'm worried about is like if people...
It could look like the parental advisory logo. I'll leave that in here so that you can... I'll leave that in here so you can use it for later. But let's get back into the interview. And this next one, we're going to look at your writing process. And we're going to break it down into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning. Okay. So when you get inspired, we're going to cross that step off the list. What are some of the things you do to start a track?
First, if I come up with an idea, my phone's coming out immediately because I don't record it. It's out.
Yeah.
It's out. Yeah. And so generally my favorite way to make music is to start with like a chord progression. That's the easiest way for me to make music. But there's probably like 2 or 3 songs that I have, 2 that are coming out right now. Not right now, but soon. That I came up with the actual melody of the song itself first. Yeah, but I'd say if I don't have like a chord progression to go off of, just going on drives and just having something like thinking of like a specific topic to write about. And then sometimes that doesn't work. And so you kind of switch the topic, or I'll make like a post on my story. It's like, hey, like, what should I write a song about?
Oh, okay.
Some ideas.
Yeah.
Because it's also a lot easier for me if I do like, don't get me wrong, I got some heartbreak songs, and of course, yeah, like that's prime material to write music with, but
doesn't have to be everything though.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like I have 2 different full versions of songs, like with the band Delta Avenue. And I mentioned with we have a song called "Stay Home," and that song that's released is about staying home because of COVID, like being stuck inside. But I have a whole nother song written that's just about relationship stuff. And I had written the whole thing and I was like, ooh. And then I went, No, I don't want to write another song about a relationship right now. Like that's
You
like
can
every song's been
you can
about.
change which version's available based on your relationship
It's
status.
in my notes somewhere. I mean, that was years ago, but it's in my notes. And so, yeah, just having a topic or like forcing myself to write about something that's not relationship wise makes me happy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then once you get a track finished, so not so much released and put out and things like that, but like when you're done writing it, how long does it usually take you to get comfortable performing it?
That's a good question because I just recently started my band for my solo stuff. Everything else I've written has been for a band where I'll write the song and I'll bring it to the band and then we're all kind of make it happen. So technically a long time because I've had stuff out on Spotify under I never planned on performing my stuff. Like unless like
fair.
One person saw it and was like, ooh, want to get signed? Ooh, like well,
yeah.
So I didn't plan on doing that until like the last.
Well, actually, look under your chair. No.
A lot of people have been getting on my butt about it, and I'm like, I mean, if you guys want to hear it that badly, I guess I'll start performing it live, and it's very flattering, but it takes probably a hot minute because since I don't play guitar, like I can't go out and do singer-songwriter stuff. I can play guitar, but I'm not a guitarist. And so that's when I'm actually pushing myself to do here soon. I'm going to do my song Stuck. I want to do an acoustic.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, that's exciting.
I wrote that one on the guitar during like one of the snowstorms we had the last few years. And so I'm comfortable playing that one, but it's trying to do both now. So I don't have like a set amount of time. I just love to perform. So if I do finish a song, like now that band's kind of going now, as soon as I finish the song, I'm like, guys, I have this. Let's learn it now, please.
And I guess when you bring it to them, how long does it usually take? Like, how long is that collaborative effort look like?
That's a good one. So we actually haven't even played our first show yet. Our first show is not scheduled till March.
Oh, exciting.
But so I'll go more along the lines of like when I'm in a band.
Yeah.
Not too long. I'd say maybe a month of practicing. Because I mean, I'm also a stickler. I like to be tight. I'm big on being a cohesive band, sounding sloppy, sounding professional, stuff like that. So I'd say like we practice at least once a week. So I'd say a solid month of practices, depending on how difficult the song is. Then though, because I have some songs that are just an easy 4-chord loop, and I have some songs that I honestly don't. I made the chords, and people go, "Oh, what chord was that?" And I go,
"This one,
D."
You just have to throw in a couple. It's an inverted variation on the 3rd and 7th.
Yeah. And they go, "What's that?" And I go, "Just listen to it, please. Stop asking questions. You're stressing me out." Like chords are something I'm trying to get better at.
Fair. Yeah, and there's always that stuff I've never been able to like get my head around. I can figure it out, but don't ask me what I figured out.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, like I can play a keyboard. Do I know what I'm playing?"
No.
Does
it sound good? Yeah. Hell yeah. And actually, that's a cool segue into our next question. Looking at your current sound, and we're, obviously you have a very current you sound at the moment.
I do.
What are some of the characteristics, so like the actual like descriptive attributes of the sound that you enjoy?
Ooh. Like how would I describe?
Yeah, like if you were describing your sound, what are the descriptive elements of your sound that you enjoy?
I like the fact, I would say I try and write fairly relatable stuff. So I like that fact of it. And I like all my songs are very different. We were talking about it earlier. And I like that. I love the fact that you'll hear one song and you're like, oh, cool. This is super like chill. And then you hear the next song and you go like, whoa, this is the same person? like vocally wise, you can tell, but like structure wise or like the whole just sound in general, like that's one thing that I wouldn't say I have a problem with, but that I've been thinking about is how do I define my sound other than this like the timbre of my voice that people go, oh, that's Michael. I wonder if that's gonna in the future kind of like hinder me since I don't have like that specific sound.
I think that comes with time. You know what I mean? Like,
agreed.
I think the development of your own sound, because you can fast track it and do what everybody's doing and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like fitting in and being like applicable is, a thing. I mean, look at any long running artist has done something in that realm, an album for a contractor, things like that.
Yeah.
But I think if you take the other route and you decide to build your sound through figuring out, what is unique about you and then building around that, it takes longer. It takes a while because not only does it change over time, but some of it just has to come from you putting in, your proverbial 10,000 hours.
And that's a good point.
Yeah. So like you won't have a defining sound, especially if you're only recently diving into what is your own. Because I mean, even your most recent or I guess it's an EP, came out like 2022. So like the sound, I'm sure, is very different from Shooting My Shot as it is versus now. You know what I mean?
The songs I have coming out now are so different.
Yeah. See, and I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, the harmonies in Walk were amazing. So solid track. And the horns in Change Me.
I'm very happy about that one. So while I recorded that one, I was in it was the first band I've ever just lead sang for without having to play bass as well. Called The Vibe. And we had a 3-piece horn section, sometimes a 4-piece horn section in it.
It
was nice. I had the saxophonist and the trumpet player come in, Ray and Daniel.
Oh yeah.
They killed it.
Oh, they crushed it.
Nailed it.
Crushed it.
Because I don't write horn charts.
Same.
And so I was like, hey, like, can you play something? They went, yeah, of course. And they pulled it out their butts and like we were there maybe hour and a half.
Yeah. Hey, when you show up and you can do your thing, it doesn't take a long time.
It was very nice of them, and that's one of my favorite things of any of the songs because I'm a sucker for horns.
Same. Good horns go a long way.
Yeah.
If you were a saxophone player and you want to be on the show, let's make it happen. But I actually want to point out one more track because I went through a few of yours, and I got to say, I was really vibing with Tragic.
That is so funny you say that. So that's the very first song I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I wrote that song not planning on doing anything with it. My buddy was like, hey, I'm making beats now. Like, do you want me to make you something? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, could you make something in the style of an artist? His name is not Sam Smith, Sam Henshaw.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal artist. And I was really obsessed with his sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, could you make something like this? He's like, sure. And he sent me that. And I was like, and then we Skyped and we went over some notes and stuff and I added some stuff for it. And I just wrote a song to it just kind of for fun, for myself. And I showed a few people and I was like, oh, like, what are your thoughts? Showed Delta, like that's a band. Like, what are your thoughts? And they're like, record this. And I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because that was still early on. I didn't write my first song until I started with Delta.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 5-6 years ago. And so it's just funny you say that because it's like, to me, I hear it and I cringe a little bit because that was.
I mean, it definitely, I will say, it definitely felt loose compared to your more recent stuff.
Yeah.
But the energy was very prominent. It had a strong push in the hook. Like, especially like you and Carly Lewis, just like the sound was there. And I was actually curious if you would ever consider revisiting that track.
I have thought about it. I want to do like a kind of remaster.
Yeah, I would even say just like reworking it right as a whole new thing in your current sound. Because if it had the production of shooting my shot, I really feel like that song would have stood out like prominently.
That's very, because it's funny because I've had a couple people tell me that that's their favorite, and I'm like, I'm such a harsh critic of myself. I'm like, it's so underproduced. There's so much empty space. It's so like empty.
But that I think should be more of a testament than anything else, because if they're willing to say that with all of that on there, that means there's a raw element that's built into it already. You know what I mean?
I feel good. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that.
Hey, you're the one that made it. I'm just telling you stuff that's already there.
I appreciate that. Thank you, though.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, maybe I will.
Hey, I mean, if you do, I'll just take a little writer's credit. It's just fine. It's fine. Hell yeah. All right. Now, this next one, I think this will be a fun one. I think, especially given what you've already said in your other answers.
Okay.
But I want you to look at just 2023. We're so close to it.
All right.
How did your process change in that year?
2023 was my best year musically. And like, I can't really say every year's been better than the last, because we all went through a lot of stuff where no music happened.
Yeah.
But my process changed, I'd say the most, is because Delta kind of stopped playing shows. We're still recording. We're actually releasing a song soon.
Oh, exciting.
But we're just not playing shows anymore. And so I kind of got to dip a toe in other projects, other sounds, which was different for me because Delta was the only band that I was in for 4 years.
Damn.
Like that's the only.
Yeah.
People were like, "Ooh, can you do this?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm busy," because like Delta was playing a lot. So I say 2023, my process changed. Are you talking about it's like my music process or like writing process?
Oh, let's open it up. Let's do it however you feel you want to interpret the question.
I was like, wait, I don't know if that's exactly what he's asking. It changed because since I got to, it ties into each other. Since I got to dip a toe in so many different fields and bands and sounds, I got to see how other people work. And so I've had a lot of friends like Rain Ezra come into the studio. She's on one of my next songs.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out Rain.
Watching her, and I'm like, yo, you did all that in like an hour and 15 minutes? You making me feel like an amateur. I've been doing this a while. And just seeing how other people work in the studio and having people hire me on as a bassist on their album or something like that, that definitely changed my mindset. Not so much, I'd say, writing process, but how I go about my studio time and how I try and get things done without wasting time or wasting other people's time. I'd say that would be the biggest change.
Oh, yeah.
It's more so studio time rather than writing process.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a part of the creative process.
True.
You know, the steps along the way. It's not like once you put the pen down, you're like, okay, I'm done.
And we're done.
Like writing it, I think, comes in the form of creating it to a degree as well. You know what I mean? Like until your hands are no longer involved in the creation of the song, you're still writing it.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
You know,
because I'm.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm always like, ooh, let's change this. Like, I'm that person.
That's when it helps to have somebody else touching the buttons after.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I get to a point where I'm just like, hey, just let me know if it's good.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to keep changing things.
That, I think it's important to remember that a song, when it's created, like a song that's made and listened to in digital platforms, it's not supposed to, like, we all think of it as this like perfect polished. Really, it's supposed to convey the energy of the track. Like it's supposed to convey the message so that when they see it live, that energy translates, because it's not going to sound the same live. Like it's, nearly impossible.
Yeah.
And like, a lot of people even prefer it doesn't sound the same live. You know what I mean? But the energy still has to translate, especially when you don't have access to, the world's greatest producers and the biggest studios and all that. Like that's, again, why people resonate with your earliest track, because the energy still resonates. If you were to perform it right now, there would be a link to it because that passes through both of them.
That's also a very good point. You wise. you spend some wisdom today. I've never thought about it in that aspect.
Huh, well, there you go. Just some food for thought. But getting back into you, this next question, this is probably the densest question in the interview. But we've talked a lot about your experiences with music, the actions, the reactions. But when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
Oh, music makes me happy. And I know that's such a general question, but whether I am upset, sad, or anything, music is what gets me through it. Everything. Kind of like Stevie Wonder said, music is that's the language we all understand. And no matter what, like I've played with someone who didn't speak any English before, but we were jamming.
Yeah.
And so, no matter what, that music will guide me in a way. Even if I'm listening to that sad, depressing stuff that you listen to, where you're just like, man, it's rainy outside, I ain't feeling good. Let's turn on some like sad, like some Stromae or something. I'm like, Stromae is a French artist. I don't speak French at all.
Same.
But there's like 4 of his songs where I'm singing along. Do I know what I'm saying? No, but the sounds are very close. And like, even though it's like that's sad music, it's still making me happy.
Yeah.
Because it's just music. It's just something that clicks with me. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I feel like that's a very generic.
No, I mean,
I don't think it's a wrong answer. Not question. Yeah. Generic answer.
A lot of people say that in response. They're like, oh, I feel like this is really generic. Music is a commonality. Music is something we share. Like you said, it's something that you could interact with somebody who didn't even speak the same language as you. So I don't think there is such a thing as a generic answer. People should all enjoy music. That like we generically should be enjoying music. That's the point of it. That's the whole reason it exists, is for enjoyment in its own way.
Valid, yeah.
So I think the generic answers are the best answers because they're the equivocal ones to all of us.
Yeah, it's real. So something everybody connects with, just like music.
Exactly. All right. And then the last question in this middle portion. This one's more of a future than a present question. But what would you say your end goal looks like? And I want to say more, not so much on the like accolade side, but like, what does you kind of reaching your peak and like consistent point look like? If you were to say like, touring musician, performing all the time, this and that, what does that part look like?
At the moment, exactly that. Since I love performing so much, like I do love recording music and stuff, but my favorite part of music is the performing live. I was just talking to, who was I talking to about this? Was it Dom or DJ? One of them.
Yeah.
I come from a performing first before recording. So like I've done so much more performing than I have recorded, and I know a lot of people are vice versa. And I have nothing wrong. I love studio time's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the idea of being able to travel to places and play there and watch people dance and stuff. Like I did a little tour with a band that I'm the touring bassist for called JC Proof. And we did a tour in August, and it was like the biggest tour that I've done personally. And I was so honored to be a part of it. And it's a funk dance band. And just going to these random places where nobody knows each other and stuff. Like these are hundreds of miles apart.
Yeah.
And just seeing people dance and then connecting with people afterwards. And like people have some people have such a high respect for musicians, and just seeing how happy it makes them and how like giddy they are to talk to you afterwards. Like, I'm just a nerd.
Just here playing a bass.
Yeah, when I get home, I'm turning my computer on. I'm playing something nerdy, and it's just really fun. So I'd say my future, I'd love to be just that touring person.
Hell yeah.
Of course, I'd love to tour my own stuff. That's like ideal. But honestly, like if some big name artist was like, "Hey, would you want to like tour bass for me?" I would be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I mean, my stuff can go on hold for a little bit because that would be a chance of a lifetime.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, hopefully you get to that point.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
I love hypothetical.
And for these, the sky is the limits because the questions are made up, so the answers can be too. But for this first one, pretty straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
That question made my brain hurt because I have quite a few answers that came to my mind before you even finished that question. Bruno Mars. And I would love to just sing on a track with him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Bruno Mars is one of my biggest inspirations. Like, at least if you hear me, it's different when I sing live. Like, that's why I'm excited for people to see my solo stuff live, is because it's much different than what I've recorded.
Yeah.
And like in my first quite a few songs, I for some reason hid the raspiness in my voice because I have a very like powerhouse, very much a Bruno Mars-esque, kind of like a Queen-esque voice. And I'm not comparing myself to like the talent, but
no, you're saying exactly verbatim. He is better than. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But I lost my train of thought.
You were comparing the similarities of your vocal characteristics to Bruno.
Oh yeah, I just like, since he's been such a inspiration to me in that way, and I just love his music. Like, I personally can't think of a single song he's put out that I haven't bopped for at least a week.
Yeah,
on repeat. I'm that kind of person. I'm like, ooh, that's a good song. Again, and so I think that definitely would be. Who and why? A close second would be Donald Glover, Childish Gambino.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because
hell yeah,
that man's mind just fascinates.
Childish Gambino, if you ever want to be on the show.
And I'd love to just be your guest and sit in. I don't even have to say anything. Yeah, cause he's also one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant.
Oh, prolific man.
Yeah.
Big fan. Big fan.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. And then subsequently, who's a local artist you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to.
Ooh, that I haven't gotten to connect with.
Yeah.
That I haven't like actually recorded something with, or haven't even gotten to talk to yet.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Like you're aware they exist. You may have chatted with them, but like you like would like to work with them on music. Imagine this whole audience of people watching this that may be able to at them in the comments right now.
That's a. There's a guy named Salvatore. And he's a really. I believe that's his name. Don't kill me if I'm wrong. At least that's where like his handle is on something. But he's like a phenomenal like R&B guitarist, singer. I think he's actually playing a show tonight that I might be going to after this.
Oh, exciting!
But me and him like we've exchanged conversations, but we've never done anything musically.
Mm-hmm.
And I find him very talented and very impressive. I like to work with him.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Well, y'all know what to do. Add him in the comments. Let's make it happen. Hell yeah! And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits. And that's pretty literal here. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, guaranteed best lineup, guaranteed best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. And I had to just start adding this in. It also cannot be the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Oh, yep. Yeah. No, I wouldn't even want to. I mean, I would. But
where would you want to perform?
That's so. Are we talking about success-wise or just for my personal, just to make me happy?
This is a hypothetical question, so you can answer it however you would like.
I would say, of course, I'd want to play in front of like a big crowd. But location-wise, purely that, just to like cross something off my bucket list. What's the band called? They're really good. I think they're like a folk alternative band.
That narrows it down.
Wait, no, they're really good. Tell me. I can't think of it, but they have like a music video where they're playing on an iceberg.
Oh.
And that was so dang cool.
Yeah.
I would want to do that just because it was.
Yeah. Just so you could say you were on an iceberg.
Like genuinely, like they're actually on an iceberg, like with their instruments set up. And it's like, and I think it's a live video. Like they're actually playing on it.
Oh, damn.
Cool. I'll try and send you a link if I can find it.
Yeah, please do.
I'm blanking on their name right now.
Well, anyway,
but it's just gorgeous and unique.
And there are icebergs in Antarctica. So you could play in Antarctica and say you played there.
That'll make it even easier to hit every like 7 continents.
Yeah, exactly. Once you check that one off, all the other ones are easy.
Yeah, I know that's a random one. Like a lot of people like Madison Square and stuff. Like, of course, I would love that.
Yeah,
but just
that's actually what
personal like artistic game. An iceberg, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I support that.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, now we've got one more hypothetical question.
Hit me with it.
If you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have put out an album yesterday, they could have not put out an album in 100 years. Who would you want an album from, and when would you have wanted it to come out?
And when would I have wanted it to come out? Ooh. Oh, no, that's not even hard. Michael Jackson. I've always been a big Michael Jackson fan. Growing up, like, I used to dance a bit, and it was solely because when I was younger, I teach myself his choreography, or I try to teach myself his choreographies.
Wait, you didn't just put hooks in your hardwood floor at home so you could just latch in?
Yeah, but like, I'm still kind of obsessed with Michael Jackson. He's such a relic. Where I don't think there's so many people that are going to be similar. Like, like Chris Brown gives those vibes. Bruno Mars gives those vibes. But no one's going to be him.
Yeah.
And when would I want ASAP?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
well, more, I mean, like, would you want, like, because Michael Jackson, that's definitely not the first time somebody said Michael.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that most people have agreed or have said without prompt that they would have wanted a Michael Jackson album during like the COVID time. And like, as I think about it, like if we got a Michael Jackson album right as we came out of COVID, that would have been wild. That would have changed things. Wild.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to choose a different answer because I don't know. Is there a better answer than that? At least for me, I don't know.
Again, if you like Michael, there's nothing wrong with that. His music was there for a reason. It was appreciated for a reason. You know what I mean? So I think that's a solid answer.
I'm gonna stick with that, and I'm gonna steal that time frame. That would be a solid time frame.
That or Prince. Either would have just been.
Prince crossed my mind too.
Yeah,
and I love Prince, but I was so much more into Michael Jackson than I was.
Michael,
the more recent thing.
He was like the edgier version. You know what I mean? Like Prince was the one who he's like, I'm at the top, but I don't care. Yeah. Whereas Michael was like, I'm at the top and I care.
And I want
like,
everybody's.
Yeah. So that was just. I think that was their slight differences in doing similar things.
Oh yeah, and Prince just as like an instrumentalist.
Oh, phenomenal! I mean, Michael was as well.
I mean, yeah. No, absolutely.
Prince, I think, is a performing instrumentalist.
There we go.
Yeah,
we'll say that because like the guitar solos he has,
incredible.
Oh my goodness, that stuff is wild. Did you see do you watch Scott's bass lessons on YouTube? Well, a while ago, forever ago, he came out, one of his videos, he basically got to play the bass that Prince ordered before he died. I don't know if you've seen that bass. It's just a really sexy bass.
I mean, it's Prince's bass. You know what I'm saying?
It's an iconic purple, and it was like, that's in his symbol. And then I had like a lot of gold accents. It was just...
Hell yeah.
Prime.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, but now we're going to go ahead. We're going to start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
Well, tell us what we can look forward to, say, the first half of 2024.
Ooh, I got a single coming out here pretty soon.
Ooh, exciting.
I gotta say pretty soon because I don't have a set date yet, but within 2 months, for sure, I'm going to make that happen. And I have another one coming out the beginning of summer.
Ooh, exciting.
That's the one that I have with Rain Ezra.
Hell yeah.
And both of the tracks I have my friend Bren Boy.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Bren Boy.
He's so talented. I loved working with him. But that's going to be my next two endeavors coming out.
Hell yeah.
There may be some visuals coming out with them or not. There might be some music videos.
Hell yeah.
To be determined.
Well, that's exciting. We're definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, other than that, just various shows, but I can't remember all the dates right now.
Always. And for this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
Ooh, you can find me at Thatillaguy on Instagram or Thatillaguy on any music streaming platform other than iTunes. I don't think they changed it there. On there, it's still M-Illa. So M.space Illa ILLA.
Hell yeah.
I think that's all. Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. And then it'll all be also on the screen and stuff there. They'll see it.
Perfect.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Ooh. My band Sound Bucket with my best friend Matthew. We're playing a lot. That's one of the main bands I play with right now. That's a great one. You can follow Sound Bucket, PDX on Instagram. And then I also play with JC Proof. We're actually playing in Newport tomorrow. We're playing
exciting.
Prom. It's jungle themed. That's a phenomenal band. And The Views and the Vibes is a recent band I just joined. I play in a lot of... I love playing... See, if you can't tell, I love playing music. So I play in 4 bands currently.
Views has definitely been on the show before.
Oh,
yeah. Shout out Views.
Oh, I love him. He's funny. But I recently started playing bass for him.
Oh, exciting.
And so...
Hell yeah.
Check him out.
Hell yeah. All right, now we got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
All right.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below. Go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. With that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation.
Ooh, okay.
But what is an album you feel is on the obscure side? So it's one not a lot of people know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
Oh, hands down, Living Room by Lawrence.
Okay.
Lawrence is my favorite band. I don't know if you're familiar with Lawrence.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So you were saying earlier that I forget the name of the band, was like the one band that you've seen. I think it was
Chromeo.
A bunch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen them 6 times.
Oh,
7
damn.
times in this coming October.
Oh, hell yeah.
Love them. And they're definitely blowing up a bit. They just did the world tour with Jonas Brothers, and they opened for them the whole tour. So I'm so excited because I've been watching them for 7 years. I saw them first at Mississippi Studios.
Okay.
Which I'm excited. I just played there a couple weeks ago, and it was so fun. But watching them go from Mississippi Studios to
world tours.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So I'd say Living Room by Lawrence is such a good album. They're like I think they're considered like retro soul pop.
Yeah.
So good. That's some of my feel good music. That's some of my go-to stuff that I go to.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for the recommendation.
Of course.
And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been so fun.
Yeah.
I love talking about myself.
Well, you did a great job.
I appreciate you.
But we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Michael.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.